so grossly inaccurate, it proved the guy did this maliciously, and he had a malicious intent, in my mind, to harm our reputation, just so he could promote his reputation. And for years, it went unopposed and on the internet, and he was being heralded as some authority. The guy's a science and editor. He has no knowledge of martial arts. He got in a huge verbal fight with the father of karate for the United States, Ed Parker, who said members of his own extended family would come forward and talk about me being in Kumite and all that.
Wow.
And it was ridiculous. And when you look at the receipt that this guy held up as credible, here's the reality of it. 1980, I'm in Black Belt magazine. I'm holding my trophy. Okay. When this receipt was first shown to me, it was dated 1982.
1982.
So when we showed him the receipt, that it couldn't even be close to, because I have an article on Black Belt magazine verifying when I won my championship. And remind you, they state very clearly they verified it. They're in the martial art industry. Their journalists were in a position to verify or disprove something. Not some guy who's, a stringer at that time, and certainly it comes from a science community. The other thing is that picture of me holding the trophy was taken in 1976. When I won it, right? So here he has a receipt dated 1979, the second time he produces the receipt, okay, which happened in the case of Van Dam when we got in a lawsuit. It took me 10 years to finally get that thing up in front of an actual jury so it could be examined or entered in evidence so we could actually show them to be a liar. So you have now another 3 years difference just in the date. The receipt isn't even made out in my name. It's made out to a Frank Dukes, and anybody
and
knows.
It's spelled Dux, correct?
Dukes, right?
Yes.
And if you look at the signature line, you can see somebody basically cut and paste my signature off of probably one of my old contracts or something like that, and they put it onto the receipt because you can see where the F goes, it should go through the line, and it's cut off, and the D should go, and it's just situated just above the signature line. So that's another factor.
Wow.
And and then here's the ultimate coup de grace. Ready for this one?
Yeah.
The receipt is for a trophy that's three tiers in height, like you see the usual karate trophy.
Yeah.
It has 4 judo figures, okay?
4.
It has 2 gold cups, okay? Yet my trophy, if you look at it, all right, and this is like, there's no excuse for this mistake, is a 2-foot pedestal with a big silver cup on top. Now explain to me how that could be a trophy receipt for my trophy when they aren't even remotely close, even in description.
Right.
So that's really the reality of the situation. And it just, and then these other guys come along, and for whatever reasons they can't compete with me again fairly in business. Robert Brown and myself were competing with a film project with Jerry Bruckheimer. He not only trashed me, but what people don't realize is he trashed Richard Marcinko. He called him Pogue Warrior for the same reasons. He was competing against Marcinko and myself to get our project screenlighted because they were going to pick one of the 3 to do a TV series, and it ended up being Soldier of Fortune after he basically took us out of competition. So in a way his tactics work and they paid off for him, but did they really pay off for him karmically or in the end? I don't think so. Because people, as time goes on in history, they look at them through, different glasses now, because it's like anything goes for the guy to make a buck.
Okay, now what I want to touch on, Frank, if you don't mind, what are you working on now? Because I know that there's fans out there like myself that really want to know what's going on with Frank Dux right now.
Well, the most immediate thing that I'm working on right now is a film called No Right to Die. I did it in Mongolia. It is the first time that the Mongolian people will have an autonomous voice in the film community. It's the story of Genghis Khan, and we're just in the process of editing it. It'll be the true story of Genghis Khan, not the Japanese, American, Russian versions of how they tell the story. And it's 100% historically authentic. The fight, I mean, the battles are fought exactly where the battles were fought. It's all shot really in Mongolia, not Kazakhstan, not on the backlot of Universal, you know. And the story is quite compelling. And so that's one thing I'm working on. The second thing I'm working on is I spent a good majority of my life cataloging techniques from all the different systems and finding the similarities between all of them. And I created, for our industry, the first core curriculum. I don't care what style you come from, these are the things that you should or absolutely know if you're going to call yourself or hold yourself up to be a martial art instructor. And it's one version. It's going to be the first professional desk reference book for the martial art industry. So if you want to know anything about strangles, you open it up, all of them are there. If you want to know about seizing, twisting, and locking of the joints, it's all going to be there.
And anybody can use this, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Just anybody. You don't have to be a martial artist, right?
No, no. If you ever want to know about the martial arts, all the fine points, it's going to be fascinating. And the nice thing about it is I give also in the book a certain amount of theory of how martial arts strategy and tactics you can apply and how you apply it to your daily life, like threat and anger management. Okay, how do you control that? Your situational awareness, how you can spot opportunities and exploit them to your advantage. And so there's a lot of things from the book that people can benefit from aside from that. And plus it's going to be, the idea of it wasn't even so much as an instructional aid. I just wanted to make something that was really going to be a great gift item. Like something that every man would want, you know, in his library, on his desk at home. This is, to me, was really, really important, that I leave a legacy behind of my knowledge and also do something for the martial art industry because what makes it kind of unique is I create a common language. And what I do is, like, for example, in karate, whether you do Korean style, Chinese styles, Japanese styles, they all have the same movements in many cases, but they have different words for them. Okay? And what I'm doing is instead of giving a word, I give it a number.
Okay.
So everybody can understand and agree on a number and a cataloging a sequence. So let's say jumping, spinning, heel kick, which in one style would be called dragon, flies and whips its tail.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going, huh? What's that? Okay. Well, is really, you just call it to 113.30.
Yeah.
One being the first, volume, chapter 13, 30th kick.
Well, one of the last things I really want to touch on, Frank, is something personal for me. That thing that you did with my legs, it inspired me to even believe more of what you do. I mean, I've always believed when I was a child, but whatever you did with my legs, could you tell us exactly what that was?
Well, I did a thing called Chuaka. You saw probably on That's Incredible. I took a kid who never walked before.
Yes.
And I used a Mongolian massage to re-stimulate. It has to do with rerouting the chi flow within the body so that instead of using muscle, you're using pure energy to maneuver, which is what I did with you.
Yes.
You couldn't use your toes before, and now you're able to flex them. You couldn't move side to side. Now you're able to move side to side.
And it's like yesterday we went to the movies together, and I was able to balance popcorn on this side and my drink on this side, and I've never ever been able to do that. I've always had to hold on to something because if I didn't hold on to something, it would just spill. It's just amazing. The proof is right there, people.
Well, and that's the most important thing for you, Jerry, is you got to experience it firsthand. It's because you tell people it sounds like mumbo jumbo to them. They don't understand it, and hopefully someone will hear what you're talking about, and a good doctor or somebody who's a little more scientifically based will move in that direction.
Oh, I've had my troubles with doctors saying that I wasn't going to live and wasn't going to make it. I think that's why me and you kind of relate, because...
Oh yeah, I've had the same thing happen to me when I had my spinal meningitis.
Yeah.
But it's just people can't predict the future. They can't be absolute authorities on anything. I never hold myself out to be that. I try to share my knowledge with as much people as I can, and having the opportunity to share it with you brings a warm